Did you talk to him about UAPs?
No, so like the thing is, like he's been very open about saying like out of like all the space stuff he's done, he hasn't seen any evidence of it. And I don't know, it just he doesn't seem like a believer, so it'd probably just be something like oh man, yeah, I haven't seen anything like that, and I'm like the leading expert in space, so it probably doesn't exist. That'd just be a huge letdown.
First of all, for the guys who are watching and listening right now, Nolan is a big UAP, UFO,
Oh yeah,
extraterrestrial advocate
yeah,
and interest person. Elon has been very outspoken that he believes the government has information that it hasn't made available. And I don't even have to ascribe that to Elon because that's just true. We know it's true. I don't know that
yeah,
they have a
yeah.
little green body in a lab or anything like that, but they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars ascertaining, collecting, studying. So the idea that they know nothing doesn't make any sense because then what did they spend all the money and time on? So what do you believe about UAPs? And has it changed because of what you now understand about the use of technology in your own head?
Yeah, I I bel I'm a strong believer that they're here. I I don't know that I'm 100% sold on if they were always here, if they've come from somewhere else, if there's a lot of different theories about out there about like are we just some sort of race of things that they created or that they've enslaved or are they just visiting us from afar? I mean, there's so much out there. I believe they're here. I believe that there are too many stories out there about like sightings and interactions with aliens in different ways, like UFOs, UAP sightings, and things. I think a big argument people have these days is it's all just technology that the government has, and it really doesn't make sense to me that the government would have like this level of technology. But I know that the government hides stuff from us like all the time about these things. And so like I'm about to get into like a little I'm gonna be like flagged for a lot of things that I'm saying, I'm sure. I know that the government hides a lot of stuff from us. And I know that there's a lot of like reason for it. They always say that it's to prevent mass panic and stuff. I know that people have come out, really powerful people have come out. I think Trump came out and said something about it. Like if you knew what I knew, like you would be like scared, like you'd be worried basically. Like all sorts of stuff like that. I think they're here. There are a few specific cases where I'm like, oh yeah, it's got to be true. Like I don't see how you can like fake something like that. Um, there's too much out there, I think, at this point. What worries me is that it's become so mainstream that it is something that the government like has released intentionally for some reason. I don't know. There's just it's something I love thinking about. If you ever get the chance, man, you should look up like crop circles. Crop circles are one of the things that really, really like changed my mind on this whole debate. If you look up like how crop circles are formed and the things that they've found, like at sites, like crop circle sites, and then the things that like the English government has done to like create this whole misinformation campaign around it and to like discredit the leading like people trying to study this thing, it is so sketchy. And there's no technology that like we have, at least that they've shown that we have, that can create crop circles like that. People have come out and claimed it, and then they've asked them to recreate it, and it's just it's laughable. I don't know, man. There's so much. I know they're here. I know they're here. Why they're here, I'm not sure. I know they're out there though.
Is God an alien?
Ooh, no. I'm gonna go. This is one thing that like I don't know exactly how to um justify the two. I have a very strong foundation, my faith in God. I've heard people say that like UFOs, UAPs, things like that, it's all like spiritual stuff. It's all like angels, demons, like spiritual warfare going on just on a different plane, and for some reason like we can see them from time to time. I don't know if that's true. It's possible. I can see like some pros and cons to the argument. I don't think God is an alien. I mean, maybe alien to us. I don't know how you would define that. Are we the aliens that like God has created? I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just exciting. It's so much fun to think about.
I have been, so I got a lot of shit about engaging in this at News Nation, but I've always been very clear about it, and News Nation has been very aggressive in this. And I know that you knew about News Nation because of our coverage with Grush and others. But
Yeah.
here's my thing. I don't know. Okay. Now, I feel the same way about my faith. I don't spend a lot of time talking about, I never hide from the fact that I have faith in God, but I don't talk about it a lot for several reasons. One, it's not my place. Two, I don't put it on anybody. It is a tool and an aspect and an energy that I need to deal with the fact that I am just pathetic by my own reckoning of how I live my life, and I am desperate for any ability and help in getting better. So my faith works for me. It does not make me better than anyone else. If anything, it's evidence of my being less than other people who don't need that. So I don't put it on people. I certainly don't see it as anything that defines me in a positive way. But also because you lose the argument all the time. Whenever you speak to an agnostic or an atheist, you're going to lose anything that's about any kind of logical argument or fact-based argument. So I've always felt like the same thing about this. I don't know. I believe there's something extremely arrogant about the suggestion that we're the only life in this huge universe. The only thing we know about the universe is every time we find a way to measure it, it's bigger than we thought it was. And yet we're the only ones. So there's something arrogant about that I think would play to the side of reasonable suspicion that you're open to it. And the other thing is that I have chosen to believe in something that I can't prove to people. So why would I not apply that to other things? And certainly there's been a lot more stuff that's happened that we can't explain around UAPs than there is around God. You look at like Majagoria or something like that, and, miracles of what people have been completely fine with and justifying their faith. And they're certainly less sophisticated than what we've seen with UAPs. For me, the coverage is, you don't know, I don't know. But there are people who know more than we do. There are people who know more than we do. And I'm not saying little green men. I'm not saying they have communication. I feel the same way I do when my wife talks to me about spiritual communication and mediums and stuff like that, which is, if they're so sophisticated, if this is so real, why is the communication so screwed up? Why do they need crop circles? Why do you need to ask me 15 questions about someone who begins with an A? Why can't they just talk to us? Why can't they just communicate? So I'm suspicious also, but my coverage is coming from the place of transparency from government, that I don't need you to keep me from being afraid. I don't need that from a government. Government makes me afraid, doesn't keep me from being afraid. I am very open to it, and we will keep covering it because there just hasn't been the disclosure yet.